Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the media aspects of the Canvas starter site. This is part of the Canvas starter site 101 educational series. We're going to look at how to replace the placeholders, what the placeholders are, why I put them in there in the first place. We're going to look at managing the media and all things related to media. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to go to the MyListing Club website. It's mylisting.club. And we're going to pull up the build notes for the Canvas starter site and follow along with those notes. So from the MyListing Club website, we're going to click on this starter sites card. We're then going to click on the Explore button, and then we're going to click into the Canvas card. We're then going to scroll down to the build notes, and we're going to expand the media toggle. All right. Placeholders. Rather than sourcing real life, in air quotes, images that apply to a particular niche, whether it's fitness, weddings, whatever, I wanted to educate customers about the recommended image dimensions and help prevent customers from being influenced into thinking this starter site was built for a particular niche. The reality is that this starter site and every starter site I build can be used for any niche. So I have a fit starter site. It is geared towards fitness. It has fitness related images. Vow, for another example, is for the wedding industry. That's how it's designed anyway. It's got wedding related photos. In both of those cases, sometimes people have a hard time seeing that those starter sites can be used for literally any type of directory. I've seen it over and over again where people will take these starter sites or any of the starter sites I build and turn them into whatever directory type they want. It doesn't have to be fitness. It doesn't have to be weddings. Oftentimes it's actually the opposite of what I designed it for. I built it to be used for any niche, but I designed some of these sites for specific niches. But what that does is it influences some people into thinking incorrectly. Okay. So with Canvas, I wanted to take this a step further, and I wanted to use placeholder images in a lot of the areas, not only to educate, but also to not influence people, to let people have an open mind about what they can use the Canvas starter site for. Okay. To help ease the process of, in air quotes, making the starter site their own for customers, placeholder images are organized by folder within Happy Files Pro, which is included and licensed in all starter sites. Okay. So let me show you an example. We go into the dashboard and we go to media, just like you normally would on any WordPress site. But you'll see some differences here, and that is that we've got folders. So for example, if we look in the Coming Soon folder, you will see an image that is labeled Coming Soon, and it has the image dimensions added to it. Okay. Let's look at the support page images, for example. Depending on the placement on the page, you're going to see the image is named accordingly. So you'll see here that this is not just a support page image. It is an image for the account card. This one is for the listing promotions card. This is for the listing management card. So I make it really easy to identify what image is what. Okay. So I went over that, replacing placeholder images. This could not be any easier. The first step you need to do is identify the image that you want to replace, and you need to do that from the front end, okay? So let's look at the home page of Canvas. Let's scroll down here. Let's say we want to replace the default cover image, the default or the gallery image, and let's say this logo here. So these particular listings here, they already have an image assigned to them for the listing gallery. Okay. And that's going to be the same case for your listing owners. When they go and they fill in their listing, they're going to add their own images in here. But for the purposes of this video, to demo this, I'm going to show you how you would identify an image and replace it. Okay. So first up is let's replace, this gallery image that appears. Okay. So we see a gallery slider. Let's just replace that first image. Okay. So I've already got that listing pulled up, which is business P4B. So I'm going to edit that listing. Let me back up one step. We've identified the image. Now we need the dimensions, right? So if we go back into our media library, we see a single listings folder. Okay. Go into there. And we're looking for the gallery image. And it doesn't matter if it's the gallery image or the cover, those should be the same size. the recommended dimensions from me are 1920 by 1080. Now this is a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, so you can drop it down if you want. I just recommend 1920 by 1080. As long as you stay within that 16 by 9, it may work fine for you. I just find this is the best. All right, so we know we need 1920 by 1080. I'm gonna go back to that listing. I'm gonna find its first gallery image here. So here we go. Now I'm just gonna put in a new gallery image. So I'm gonna upload an image, and I've already done this before I started recording. So this is as we see, a listing image, just the title of the image, 1920 by 1080. And it's JPEG. I would not upload a JPEG image. I would do a WebP or AVIF, but this is just for demo purposes, okay? So I'm gonna add this in. I'm gonna place it as the first image. Again, this part's not necessary because your listing owners are going to do this, but this is just for demo, all right? Next up is, you've identified you wanna change the logo, right? This is gonna be a little bit of a different approach. Let me see here if I have, yeah, I can do it for this one. So by default, what we're doing with the Canvas starter site is applying a default logo here. So I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to show you that process. So let me go ahead and save this. And we'll refresh. Because it's going to give us, when I do the logo, it's going to give us both like processes. Okay, this is, again, like this is going to be from the listing owner's point of view, right? But what about from the website owner, your point of view? Now you want to change this. What if you wanted to change the default logo across all of your listings for a particular listing type? In this case, we're talking about businesses, all right? So the process would be a little different. So for that, we want to edit the listing type. So I'm going to go find the business listing type. Okay, and we see here a default logo. Okay, so where do we want to go to find that image? We want to go back to our media library, and we're going to that single list because it has to do with single listings. So we go into that single listings folder, and we'll just do a search for logo. Okay, so as I tell you here, listing default logo is 160 by 160. So you know my recommendation for all logos is 160 by 160. All right, so if we go back to that listing type, we're going to replace the default logo with our default listing logo of our own choice with our own branding. Okay, and we see here in image size 160 by 160. Again, don't use ping, use WebP or AVIF, which is going to get you that better compression, smaller image size, file size. And let's go ahead and update this. And let's refresh the front end. Okay, now a bit of troubleshooting. Why don't we see that in there? And it's caching of some sort, right? So I'm going to edit the home page. Now I'm just going to flip the caching back over. So by default, my listing is going to actually have this 720 value in there, which is they're going to cache these listing preview cards for 720 minutes. Before I recorded the video, I just put in a value of 0 so that when I flipped it back to 720, it's going to, like, in air quotes, what I call jar it loose, okay, which you saw that it did there. It jarred, it just signaled to my listing, to the website that, hey, something's changed, let's refresh the cache. All right, so let's go ahead and refresh the front end. There we go. So now we have that default logo across the board. In the same process, like if you want to change that default cover image. So we'll go back to the listing type. We've got our default cover image. So we would go back into the media library, single listings, but we already know that it's 1920 by 1080 because I already told you, right? So let's replace that default cover image with this image. This is just pretend that we want to use this. Select it, boom, and refresh the front end. Now you're not going to see it because these are galleries with images. The listing owner has already put images in here. So you're not going to show a default cover image with my listing if images already exist. Okay. But if we know that a listing didn't have those in there. So for example, let's go to businesses and on the Explore page. you'll see that that image is now assigned by default, even though it doesn't even exist in there. They've never specified it, okay? So that's a little trick there. You're not seeing it here in this card. This is another bonus tip because of the MyListing caching. So for that, we need to go to Theme Tools and Performance. And we're going to clear the cache for the business listing type. So regenerate those preview cards on the front end, all right? Let's go ahead and refresh our page. There we go. So now we see that taking hold. All right, that looks awesome. Let's go back to our notes and see if we've missed anything here. Yes, this is another important part. So what we could have done here, this is one of the real awesome features as far as handing this off and making it easier. In the media library, let's just say we didn't upload this logo. We just want to go in and replace this file. That's already right there. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one. Pretend that never happened. Okay, let's go to our listing type. Let's put our default logo back in as it was. Okay, there we go. So we're back to where we were. We'll just do the logo for now. Okay, so that is in there. Let's check from the front end. Again, that's caching. So we need to flip that back over so that goes away. Let's set this to 0. So we're setting the listing feed cache to 0 that out. Let's refresh our front end. They're still stuck in there. Let's try clearing the preview card cache. There's all these different layers of cache. That's always fun to clear. So let's go ahead and do that one. Refresh. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just going to replace this image without ever deleting this one and then uploading a new one. We're just going to replace this right in place. Obviously, your image is going to have a different file name. Okay, it's not going to have this in here. So all you're going to do is hover over the image, click Replace Media, click this box here to just choose the new image, and we're just going to choose our listing logo. There we go. Upload. Boom. Just that fast, we've replaced the image. We didn't need to go out to imagine if this was an Elementor page. You don't have to go out to Elementor. You don't have to open up the page, edit it, replace the image, then go and clean out your media library. You just upload a new image and it replaces it. And it also replaces the image file name, the links, everything. It's beautiful, okay? So now let's go refresh our homepage. I'm actually going to set this caching back to 720. So remember what I said, so it jars it loose. Okay, let's update that. Let's also go ahead just to be safe, and we're going to clear our preview card caching. Another hot tip, if you are developing your website before launch, my recommendation is to turn off preview card caching until you're ready to launch. Otherwise, you're going to keep facing these caching battles, okay, where you got to regenerate your cache. I purposely leave it on here because I want to show people what they need to do. But there we go. That cache is generated. Let's refresh on the front end. When I refresh this, we should see that logo automatically appear in here just by replacing that file like we did. There we go. Just that easy. So again, that was my goal, is one of my many goals for the starter site was just to make it super, super simple for whoever buys the starter site to go in and replace the images. All right. Media management, I've already gone over that. Like I said, Happy Files Pro is included and licensed. Super powerful. I haven't even got touched, all of the features of that plugin. But you can go in here. There's all kinds of things you can do. If you are doing something special to allow SVG uploads, this plugin allows that. There's all kinds of permissions and stuff you can do, some import export stuff, a lot of really cool things. Okay. All right, guys, I believe I covered it. Oh yeah, so one final point here. You can actually organize your post types. Okay, so let's go here into Happy Files. Where's it at? Permissions, maybe. Yeah. So there's the SVG support. Then you've got the permissions, who can access the folders, things of that nature. Where was oh yeah, post types right there in front of my face. You can actually organize the different post types, which is really, really, really cool, into folders. So imagine that, organizing your posts by folders, your pages, your listings, whatever. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. And if you have any pre-sales questions about the Canvas starter site or any starter site, just please let me know, and I'll try to answer it and/or do a video. Thank you. Bye-bye.